What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the My Crypto Journey podcast here with Henok Crypto, the howling guy. Yes, you got it right. What's going on, Henok? How are you doing? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. It is such an honor to be on your platform. Really appreciate you having me here.
Absolutely, man. And you know what? People are always criticizing me, saying, "Why are you having Henok on the show? You guys don't agree. You guys are arguing." Guys, you never get to the bottom of anything if you don't have people with opposing views on your channel, right? Or have a conversation with someone who thinks differently than you. That's how echo chambers get started. So we're having Henok here to talk about his future endeavors and to learn a little bit about him. So first of all, I want to know how you got into crypto. What happened there?
Yeah. So I kind of have three different starts. So in 2017, I bought Bitcoin. I'd heard about this internet money thing, watched the charts, and it freaked me out. Went crazy high, crazy low. Like my stomach was turning. Like I've never seen anything like it. So I said, no mas. So I sold as soon as I could. Made like 8% of my money. $1,000 became 1,080, and didn't touch it for 4 years. Last year, this guy named Elon Musk was talking about this thing called Doge, and I saw the run up. I was watching the chart, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, I want to buy some Doge, like a fool. But then, something happened. I just thought to myself, you know what? Before I go and, buy at the all-time high, maybe there's another Doge. Like someone bought early and they're about to cash out. So I want to do the same. So I looked up the Dogecoin killer. I'll let y'all guess, what that one was.
Oh, and, yeah, Shiba.
Yeah, that's right. And I bought some Shiba Inu at the all-time high in May. And so, man,
I think a lot of people have been there.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I was like, you know what, man, this is ridiculous. Like, whatever. But then I thought to myself, okay, someone made money here. And so I wanted to get in and figure out, how do you make money in this space? How do you buy your first, how do you buy your coins in such a way that you can actually, make a profit on it? And it led me down a YouTube rabbit trail, hundreds of hours spent YouTubing, searching, recommended, calling actual people in real life who are making money, who are in crypto. And one thing led to another, man. And I got real serious about crypto this last summer. So I would say May, June, July of 2021 was just me spending a lot of time researching before I finally made my first thought through investment that actually turned into something.
Nice, cool. And yeah, so I think it's important to talk about your association with Saitama, because to be honest, you started howling and those sorts of things, and you pretty much gained a huge following from Saitama. So what happened there?
Saitama is fascinating. So when I was YouTubing all summer long, I was trying to figure out, okay, how do you get into a good coin? I was on crypto Twitter. Someone on Twitter mentioned Saitama as something to look into. I don't know who. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna go look into this. So I YouTubed Saitama, and I found this guy named Henok Crypto. I call him my crypto sensei now, but back then he was just a guy. And the way that I was kind of looking into Saitama was, my question was, okay, Saitama's up. It's at an all-time high. It was over $100 million as a market cap. How in the world did you get into this token early? How could someone get into this token early? And who was talking about it early? Because whoever is talking about it is someone I need to be learning from. That was literally my mindset. So I found this guy named Henok Crypto, first YouTube video that I could personally find talking about Saitama in early July. And so, man, he had a Patreon. So I joined in. In his YouTube videos, he said he was buying Saitama, never giving financial advice. I'm not giving financial advice either, by the way. But yeah, and so I was like, I'm gonna buy some Saitama. So I bought some in July, and man, the chart dipped. So I didn't think much about Saitama in July. I didn't think much about it in August. I didn't even check my wallet. And so September comes around, and I'm like, oh, this thing is pumping. And I'm talking to guys in a Patreon, guys like BeatStar, Henok Crypto, and others, just learning the crypto game from them. And some people mentioned Saitama, like, hey, Saitama's pumping, things are going. So that's when I really started paying attention to the project. Was around that August, September time. And I decided to start making videos, in crypto, because I had other investments. I'm in the Binance Smart Chain, and started, learning about crypto, actually making some money in crypto. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a video after some of the guys looked at me and said, hey, you can communicate. Why don't you start making some videos? I was like, I guess. So I started making videos, and, I started talking about tokens that I was really excited about. And, the second one that I started talking about was Saitama. And there's a lot of people, that continue to this day, but even back then, to look for content around Saitama. And I was happy to, make videos that were me, authentically me. Like, I'm not a genius. I'm not a guru. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm a, crypto killer, perfect guy who's made millions upon millions of dollars. That's just not me. What I bring to the table is, I want to put a little bit of knowledge in your head. It's a little bit of something. a smile on your face. And, if you can make some money, put some money in your pocket, that'd be great too. And so those are the kind of videos that I was making. Is a lot different than what most people were making, till this day probably. And so the rest is history, man. So that's kind of how I got into Saitama. I started making videos around positivity and tying it into Saitama as well. And there's a lot of people out there that are hungry for, positive energy in a negative world. So that's kind of how it all got started for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did see that, coming up, a lot of people did grow their audience because of Saitama. So, you got to, community tokens are very, very powerful, right? It really gets the community around you. But I did see recently, so you started to not really brand yourself so much with Saitama because your Twitter whole change, right? So tell me what's up with your future endeavors, because famously I did call you out because I watched your videos and I felt like it was some real multi-level marketing, Grant Cardone kind of energy, scammy vibes. Now, I'm not saying you're scamming people, but that's the vibe I got. Can you tell me about this $1 million deal you got? What's going on with that? So what happened?
Yeah, so here it was the idea and the impetus for the business was birthed out of a pain point. I mean, I just shared it with you. I had to spend hundreds of hours. And I mean that. Like, I'm not exaggerating when I say that. I literally had to invest hundreds of hours to learn crypto because I was losing money. I lost thousands of dollars pretty much gambling in crypto prior to that. Even my Bitcoin investment, my first Shiba Inu, investment, I didn't know what I was doing. I knew people were making money, but I didn't do any research. I didn't know anything about smart contracts, contract addresses, blockchain. How does this even work? What's the underlying technology? What is a community? How does branding work, marketing work, business development, analysis? I didn't know jack about investing in general, but let alone crypto investing. And so I had to spend hundreds of hours educating on the other side of a lot of loss. And that was painful. I mean, I had to spend, and I'm still learning. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not a guru, not a genius, never going to pretend.
Always learning.
Always learning. And so, man, that's ridiculous. The fact that we have a multi-trillion-dollar industry that, in my opinion, is still underground. And the fact that you have to spend hundreds of hours watching tons of videos from dozens of content creators just to learn how to swap, just to learn how to, do it safely, just to figure out what wallet you should get, just to figure out how to make your first investment. So like the science of conducting a trade, let alone the art of figuring out when to get in, when to get out, how to actually make money in a profitable way. These are pain points and frustrations. And so for me, I was making videos on the side to encourage people because those are some dark days for me during that summer, right? Trying to figure out how to do this. I'm losing money. Like, wife is looking at me like, hey, we good? Like, what's going on? And, learning the game the hard way. And so I wanted to create videos that were positive, energizing, life-giving. We are in the middle, I won't say it feels like it. We're still in the middle of a pandemic or in the middle of a global crisis. And negativity is normal. And so, I want to bring who I am and be authentic and be really me, which is positive, life-giving, energizing. At least that's my goal by discipline. And so I wanted to bring that to crypto as well. So, man, I just started making videos when I started winning. I didn't start making videos until I actually started making a little bit of money in crypto around positivity, energizing people, encouraging people, and then just a little bit of crypto wisdom as well.
And so maybe someone reached out to you when they saw you were doing well on social media. Tell me about that interaction, because I want to learn more. I know you probably have some things you can't talk about, but I want to learn more about your future endeavors, because I understand when you talk about your frustrations when it comes to trading and those sorts of things. And there is also a lot of really, really good content out there, really quick videos on how to swap and stuff. So there are resources out there if you just type it into Google. So I understand your frustration with that, but there are resources. I just want to know about the deal, the $1 million deal, because my biggest criticism was, okay, when I watched your video, $100 into 1 million, I was like, okay, well, when you watch that video, it pretty much puts off the vibe like, hey, I invested $100, due time, I was able to turn it into $1 million. But that gap in knowledge right there is the fact that, hey, I did get this big investment deal. Now, when we spoke in the live chat, you were saying that pretty much you're not going to be generating any income. So how does this person get a return on their investment who's investing in you as a brand? That's what I really want to know.
Yeah, that'll be very obvious and evident at the end of the month. So we are going to make a huge, massive announcement letting you know. It'll be very obvious and very, it'll be real clear. It's not hard. It's simple. Some people have actually already guessed it, but the bottom line is this. I didn't say we're not generating revenue. I just said that we're not selling anything to anyone. We're not generating revenue from, anyone watching my stuff. So just kind of going back to my other point, like, that pain of trying to figure out how to do this and how to do this well was the impetus. And so we want to scale this is what my business is. We want to scale what I've been doing. I talk about tokens that I'm passionate about. I talk about crypto, winning in crypto. And then we want to spread, motivation, energy, just be a light, honestly. And so
you want to teach people how to trade.
That's a sliver of what we do. Okay. We want to teach people, honestly, more than that, about crypto, blockchain, NFTs, metaverse, Web3, how it applies in life, how these technologies are going to disrupt industries, every single industry, and what it means for the average everyday person. And yes, a part of that will be, hey, this is how I see crypto. This is how I have learned to make some money in crypto. And so I guess in that sense, we'll be teaching. We're not going to look at you and say, hey, if you follow these 3 steps, you're guaranteed to have whatever. All we're going to do is expose how I think through and process crypto trading. And, some people are going to take those principles and run. Honestly, bro, it's what I wanted. And I had this. I actually had a mentor. I had a guy, Holistic Crypto, who took me in, showed me how to make money and do it in crypto. But he had to do it over the phone, through Telegram chat, actual cell phone conversation, which is great for me, but you can't scale that. What we want to do is scale my journey of being able to interact with someone to teach me the game. And all he did was this. He never looked at me and said, hey, this is what you should do. All he said was, hey, this is what I'm doing, and here's why I'm doing it. And it was up to me as a grown man to take the things that I'm learning from him and apply it in the way that I need to and take responsibility for that. So we want to scale that, via production and videos.
Okay, yeah, and Holistic Crypto did famously make a Saitama rap video, which is actually not bad. Kind of really corny, but not bad. Very cheesy.
I don't care. But I love it.
So if I'm hearing correctly, you took Holistic Crypto's Patreon course. And when I think of Holistic Crypto, I honestly don't think of the best people in the industry when it comes to giving you good, solid advice, because there are a ton of Patreon groups that people make hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands of dollars on, because that's what you can do in our game, in the small cap community token game, right? Now, going back to Saitama, maybe 6 months ago, 7 months ago, when you got into it, what separated Saitama as an investment that you put some money into differently from the other investments that you were in? Would you say it's more of a stroke of luck, or would you say it's because you're a savvy investor and you're able to invest in something that's good? Because back then, I mean, it was no different than any, meme coin out there. So what do you think? You think it's more of a stroke of luck, or do you think that's hardcore due diligence and I'm doing my research and I invested into something that was really good?
So luck at first. So what got me into Saitama was this man looked at a coin 3 weeks before it really exploded and said, this thing is going to do good. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, if he can call it that early and he's still saying that it's a good investment for him personally, then it's good enough for me. So I was able to invest what I was willing to lose. So yes, you call it luck. I call it providence. I was very fortunate. Okay. Not analysis, not genius, no studying. This man said it. It's good enough for him. I'm going to make that jump myself. That's how I got in. That's not what kept me in it. The research and the analysis that came months later, after I grew as a savvy investor, that's what kept me into Saitama, even though I was up big.
Nice. And then, okay, that's actually a good thing for people to know is that, hey, I mean, I've gotten really lucky on some of these community tokens that really have no use case except for the fact to make money and a good community around them. So it's good that you did talk about that. Another criticism I did have of your brand is that you do say some outlandish things to me, like saying that Saitama next year is going to hit a $1 trillion market cap, which is super, super far-fetched. Is it possible? Anything is possible. Is it likely? Right. No. I mean, I could go on a date with Jennifer Lopez tomorrow. Is it possible? It's possible. Right. But is it going to happen? No. So I think personally that that's not good to the new investor. And so when I see you in this position going to tell people about your trading experiences and help them maybe trade to be better investors. To me, when you say things like that are super outlandish, that make no sense, or your video today talking about, you buy something, how you make money in crypto is easy. You buy at the bottom and sell at the top. It's like, well, yeah, duh, obviously but how do you call the tops? How do you call the bottoms? What steps do you take to get there? Because there's real technical analysis to do that. Are you going to be getting into the technical analysis aspect of that? Are you going to be teaching your audience that? And if so, what do you think qualifies you to teach the audience that when you make outlandish claims like Saitama is going to be a $1 trillion market cap next year? You see, to me, that's just a little, those things are issues to me. It's kind of contradicting, right? I know you want to be a positive guy in the environment. You want to spread positivity and give people hope. But to me, I think that's a little bit of hopium. You see what I mean?
I get it. So you look at Saitama and say, I think this is where it's headed. I look at Saitama and say, I think this is where it's headed. Neither of us know the future. 100%. We're both making a guess based on analysis or whatever reason, or just feelings, whatever the case may be. And the
But
audience
$1 trillion is half the entire cryptocurrency market.
Today, I'm making the bet
Exactly.
that when I say that the entire crypto industry will 10x over the next couple of years. That's really why. So the way I see Saitama is it's a top 100 token already, and this is with the industry in its infancy. Over the next 2 years, I have reason to believe that this entire space is going to absolutely explode. Most analysts, I don't know a single analyst that says that crypto will contract. Everyone's saying it's going to explode over the next couple of years. So if we're already top 100 and the entire industry is on its way up, it's natural to believe that good, solid projects that have incredible marketing, a good leadership team, along with a ton of utility, won't grow as well. Again, just a prediction, just an opinion, not financial advice. And everyone's making a prediction, right? You have your reasons, I have mine. I don't knock you, or anyone for that matter that says, no, I think Saitama is going to zero. Okay, I understand that. I don't agree with you, but we don't have to agree to eat chicken wings and watch the NBA. But just a difference in opinion.
Yeah, most definitely. But to me, they're a little outlandish and weird for the new investor. Yeah. And the other claims, it makes sense, right? It makes sense. You understand, right? Because we can all make our own. Exactly. Yeah, right. I think a more modest approach is better for the new investor personally, because it teaches them, hey, you're not going to get rich quick, right? So you did make some criticisms of Saitama today. What were those?
So here's the bottom line. I don't even know if I call it criticism. It's just facing reality, right? And honestly, bro, that's what I really appreciate about how your words have landed on me. And I know that a lot of people don't like you because you say things that not everybody wants to hear. But the way that you've approached the game with content has put some pressure on me. I've never talked about things that I may not, I've never talked about things that I consider to be maybe mistakes or issues or problematic with the project. And that's not fair, because that's not really revealing the full crypto journey. I'm just showing one dimension of it. But I want to show the other dimension as well that I have in my heart. So here's what I said. The biggest issue right now with Saitama is there are tens of thousands of people that want to get rich quick. And what I've been saying really all week long is I'm preaching this message. You will never get rich quick, ever. And the day that you can finally accept that, and I'm saying this to everyone watching, you will never get rich quick. I will never get rich quick. And the day that we can finally accept that in crypto is the day that we can, I believe, start moving forward in a healthy way. Because this isn't healthy. The idea that you're going to throw in $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, and it's going to 2x overnight, next week, next month, will not happen. And with Saitama in particular, and crypto in general, those stories are few and far between, and they get a lot of press. But the 99.9% of the situation are the thousands of dollars that I lost last summer, holding too long or paper handing too soon. I had a token that I invested in back in September, and I looked at it, did a lot of analysis on it. This is after I learned some stuff within the Patreon and learning from other guys. And man, I called it. I was like, all right, I'm going to put in 4. This should be worth 6 figures, whatever. But my analysis was right. I didn't give the token enough time, and I paper handed. And that was a mistake. I could have had 6 figures on that. But it's because I had a get rich quick mentality that is killing our game right now.
100%. And my biggest criticism was, well, say for example, Saitama did hit $1 trillion market cap next year, right? Like you predicted, right? If you were to invest $2,000, which is modest for a lot of people, maybe a little more than for some people, maybe a little less for some people. Yeah. If you invested $2,000 into Saitama right now, you would be rich next year if it hit $1 trillion market cap, right? You'd be balling out of control. So when I say those sorts of things, it's like, well, you're saying on one hand, you don't want people to think that they're going to get rich in crypto, but then you're telling people it's going to be $1 trillion market cap next year. If I were to put, a couple $1,000s into Saitama now and it hit $1 trillion market cap next year, I would have a good amount of money. I'd be ready to quit my job. So to me, those statements kind of contradict each other. You see what I mean?
I understand what you're saying. So what I didn't say you can't get rich in crypto. You can absolutely get rich, build wealth. I don't even like the word rich. I think it's a terrible word. I like the word wealth because it's more long-term thinking. I said you can't get rich quick in crypto. I believe that it takes time. I think you can build wealth over time. And we'll see if I'm right. We'll see if I'm wrong. And it's up to the man or the woman watching these videos, whether it's me or other content creators, to take what you're hearing, filter it, and process it. You don't ever come to me to ask, who should I date? You don't come to me asking what should I eat? You don't come to me to ask me for who should I marry? So I would ask you not to come to any content creator with your handout, asking for a handout and to tell you where to put your money. If you really want someone to do that, you should pay a professional. And the audience has a
Absolutely.
the audience has a responsibility to filter information that you're putting out, that I'm putting out. It's a responsible thing to do. Now we have a responsibility in how we communicate, and so I think that that's a very fair criticism that someone say, hey man, I just don't see that happening for Saitama, and I don't think it's helpful to the new investor that you say those things. I understand that.
Most definitely. And I think it is important, guys, to diversify your content. You don't just watch my channel, don't just watch Henok's channel, watch a variety of channels, because if you do that, hopefully it's not the same echo chamber, because a lot of people say the same things, right? Different form. Then you kind of get stuck and never have a opposing opinion, which you don't want, right? But
I 100% agree.
But when you say like to tell people not to come to your channel expecting those sorts of things, but now you're making a system or a program or whatever to help people with those things, that's essentially what you're doing, right? You're making a program to help people become better investors and those sorts of things, right?
There's no program, there's no course, there's nothing to sign up for, there's nothing to purchase. All I'm going to do is what I've literally been doing, which is I just make videos of my life and myself, of what I'm doing in crypto, how I think about the world, metaverse, NFTs. Okay. Honestly, man, it's a content creation platform. It's not fancy, it's not sexy, it's not cute. It's just, hey, here's how I see the market, here's how I see my investments, here's where I think the industry is going. Nothing cuter than that.
Okay, awesome. I think that's good. I think that's good that you're not selling any programs or no coins or nothing like that. But NFTs maybe.
Oh, NFTs are coming. I'm 100%. We will do NFTs. Just it's not right now. Like it's not the time. Like that's for later. We're just trying to launch something right now, and so NFTs are gonna come. There's gonna be Henok Crypto NFTs. I'm super bullish on them. My goal as a business leader is for those who purchase and invest in the NFTs are actually investing in me and in a portion of our business. And my goal is to actually help those NFTs grow and appreciate in value as I connect them to utility and really try to model something a little different right now. The NFT space needs some disruption. The crypto and the NFT space need to continue to get married. They're going to continue to do this. And I'm excited to help push that along in the days, weeks, months ahead.
Awesome. Okay, so maybe some more specifics about the brand. Yeah. Okay, so the $1 million deal. I want to know a little bit about this. How much of your brand or ad revenue do you sign over to the investors? What does that look like? What does the percentage look like?
That's a good question. Because I know we make.
You sure know that, Henok. I told you $1 million was lowballing you, bro. You could get more people to buy more than $1 million. Let me tell you that.
We're gonna make our money. It's tough. I'm under an NDA, so there's I signed documentation that prevents you from talking about.
I gotta say, things. I saw that coming. I did say that.
Yeah. You saw it. And that's why I kind of wanted your questions in advance, so I can run them by some attorneys, run them by the right people. Say, what am I allowed to say? Because I want to give out as much as I can.
Yeah, I know you wanted the questions in advance, but I think that's inauthentic. Like this is not CNN.
I get it.
This is not a debate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're just.
I get it.
Exactly.
But I have limitations. Okay. So unfortunately, that's the trade-off, right? No questions in advance. There's only so much I can do. I'll say this. When you see what we're going to do with this $1 million, it'll be evident how money's being made. So you'll see.
First of all, very sweet office space. I do like your office space.
Thank you.
Nice view. Okay, so another thing I do have an issue with. You tell people don't worry about getting rich quick, and it's not going to happen. But you post often if you hold billions or trillions of Saitama next year, you're going to be able to quit your job next year. So Don't you think that's sending the wrong message? How do you know that if people hold trillions of Saitama that they're going to be able to quit their job next year?
Oh, I don't know for sure. That's a prediction. That's it's hope. Yeah, that's just hyping people up. I wouldn't call it hype because hype communicates the idea that what you're putting out is intentionally false. It's more like
no.
Okay, maybe not. That's fine. Whatever your definition is. What I'm trying to say is, hey, this is where I think it's headed. This is where I think Saitama is going. I've personally already experienced that, and I think it's to come for. That's how bullish I am on Saitama. And so I just think if I really believe what I believe and what I'm saying I believe about Saitama and how fast this thing is going to grow and where this thing is headed, then that response is the logical conclusion. That's just me. That's just an opinion.
Okay, I get that. Because when you see things and you're in your because you're very influential. You got a bunch of Twitter followers, good amount of YouTube followers. You're very, very influential, and people who see that say, okay, well, it's probably a good idea for me to buy Saitama now. Would you encourage people to take profits when they're up big?
Oh, 100%. You have to take profits. Okay. Now, you got to do I don't blame anyone for selling. I am going to sell Saitama. Let's get that straight. And this is something that I tell people all the time, and you got to hear you say it. I am in this game to make money. I am here for my 4-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-month-old. I am here for my wife, my great-grandkids, my great-great-grandkids. That wolf ain't gonna be there for me on my deathbed. The wolf pack, I love y'all. Some of y'all might be in my life at that point. Most of you won't. I am here for the babies. I'm here for my wife. I'm here for the generations to come. So like Saitama, crypto in general is a tool. And 10, 15 years from now, maybe crypto's gone. It's on to the next thing, right? And so the bottom line is this, like everyone's going to sell Saitama. Everyone's going to sell their token, whatever project you're in. And the way I say it is never get married to a project. Like I'm married to the money before I'm married to a project. Money's not my God. But man, I'm married to my money before I'm married to a project. And so, I think that taking profit is wise. And I'll say this, you need to follow your own plan. This goes back to like no handouts. You need to do the work yourself. You'll never get rich quick. You can build wealth over time and through labor. And so in my opinion, the way that I like to come into trades, I like to come in with a plan. Okay, here's the market cap. Here's where it's at now. Here's my entry. I expect that based on my analysis, I expect the project to do this over this period of time, preferably long term. That's how I like to trade. And if there's new information that comes in between now, my entry and my exit, then I'll adjust accordingly. But I want to follow, my disciplined plan, regardless of, how I feel at any given moment. So when it's low, okay, that was accounted for in my analysis and in my plan. If it's high, that was also, accounted for. When it hits a certain amount, you got to take profit according to the plan that you set. If you're one of those traders, and I used to be this is why I can speak to this. If you're one of those people where you did a little bit of analysis, you jump into a token, as soon as it goes red, you paper hand, you sell, and you're just operating on emotions and feelings and Twitter, and you got your hand out, looking for other people to tell you what to do and when to do it. It's going to be very difficult for you to win in this space over the long term. Maybe in the short term, you can do all right, but it's really difficult, in my opinion, over the long haul. So yes, you should absolutely sell at some point. Just follow your plan. That's all.
Absolutely. I think that is all. Everything you said was facts. I just have to ask though, you are on record saying that you're not going to sell your Saitama at one point. What changed? What changed? Yeah. What for a decade? So you're not selling any Saitama for a decade.
I am on record for saying that. That was wrong. I will sell. It's very, very likely that I will sell before a decade. Now, if it takes a decade to hit that trillion, if it takes a decade to hit whatever target I have in my head, or my financial advisor or my team looks at me and says, I don't care. I'm willing to wait as long, because I'm a young man. I'm still in my 20s. I'm not retiring, probably ever, but formally till I'm 60 or 70 years old. And so I can afford, as a younger investor, to wait for the long haul, just like you would wait for your Ford stock or your Tesla stock over the years and the decades. Like same approach with crypto as well, if it's even going to last that long. So really maybe a better thing for me to have said, and again, I'm open to criticism. I'm always trying to grow and learn. Maybe a better thing for me to say, and I haven't said that in a long time. It's been probably a month or two. But maybe a better thing, to have said is, I'm willing to wait a decade. I'm willing, and I still am. I'm willing to wait 3 decades if I got to, because I'm not retiring anytime soon. If it takes that long for my investment to go through, that's probably a better way to say it.
No, absolutely. And I think it's important, guys. If you follow my channel and you were hanging out with me during the Saitama November 13th initial Saitamask release, you were watching the live stream with me because I live streamed it. It's still live. You can see my demeanor physically change on my body and my rhetoric, because I saw a product with a lot of hype, and then I saw things not meeting expectations. And so in my life, like just like yours, when I have expectations for something and they're not walking the walk, but they keep talking, well, I have to start to look at that project or thing a little differently, right? I have to be like, well, you know what? They said this, but they're not delivering. And so I've been very critical of the product, whereas before I was super hyped up for, because it sounded like a good idea. Now, one thing I've really started to realize over the past couple of months, and maybe a little longer than that, is Saitama wants to do something that a lot of people have already done, but they want to do it better. What do you think Saitama can do to be better than the competition? Because in order to come into a market and succeed, you got to be head and shoulders above the rest. What do you think this swap or app or whatever they want to do can be better to really set them apart from other exchanges?
I'll tell you what I already see, what they've committed to. So I can speak to what they have themselves said out loud and committed to, and I'm really excited about. I am crazy excited about the idea that we're going to list tokens. Every crypto I won't say every, but many crypto investors are always on the hunt for the next 2x, 5x, 10x, 100x. And so the function and the feature that they're going to vet tokens themselves, list them for us to consider. And again, goes back to my principle, better put in that work, better do your research and your homework. Don't ever come to another man with your hand out or another woman with your hand out. You got to do your homework. But I love that that's going to be a vetted process. They're going to continue to list tokens, maybe dozens over the next year. those are projects that I'm going to look into, because if there's hundreds of thousands of people that want to jump in, I think it's logical for me to think that maybe these coins could actually pump a little bit, if not a lot, throughout the year. So that's something I'm crazy excited about. I think it is going to put them head and shoulders above others. One thing that I really found interesting, and I think it's a model that other teams need to consider, and many are, as if no one else is doing this. I love that they have built a rabid fan base, a rabid community that's really excited. But not only did they build a community around one utility, but they built a community that can engage. Like, so for instance, there are those of us that want to get into NFTs, but not everyone does. There are those of us that want to develop on the blockchain. I don't. There are those of us who want to do some play to earn gaming, right? I don't, but there are others that do. And so they're coming out with all these different verticals in the coming months and years. And when you have hundreds of thousands of rabid fans, and eventually millions of fans, I believe, if they market it and continue to do what they're said that they're going to do,
not continuing doing something different, because right now it ain't looking so good. TBH,
in the short term. But I mean, over the last 7 months, what's been accomplished is unreal. If we're talking tech and companies, like I would love to grow 300. Let's just say one thing that they've done well. I would love to have 300,000 people that are tied to whatever I'm doing, whether it's online, subscribing, or following, over 7 months. That's a pretty short window of time to have 300,000 people, if not more, paying attention to your brand or your company. We don't talk about anything else. Just that alone is not normal. But I'll say this: if they continue to roll out all these different verticals, I'm excited that they've built a business that already has its customers in place, kind of like Amazon. So Amazon has a rabid fan base, millions of people all over the earth. If they decide to get into crypto, do you think that coin's going to do okay? I do, because they have millions of people that are bought into their brand and their vision already. They're just going to continue to roll out new products and services in different verticals. So from a business angle, I'm really blown away by that.
Absolutely. But I mean, you can't compare Amazon, because Amazon's been around for a while, tried and true. Everyone uses Amazon, probably the biggest company in the entire world by far right now. So, I mean, you can't compare that if they were to roll out a crypto, because, I mean, they have a fan base based off things they've done. And my biggest criticism of Saitama is the fact that right now, not even 100% people can use the app. And if the app that people can use, the functions are not ready to go. Now, I think that Saitama does have an angle. Saitama does have an angle. I think personally, they're a PR nightmare when it comes to some of the news they do. I feel like they don't answer enough hard questions. I feel like they don't go on people's channel like mine, like you are doing, and getting asked the hard questions, being put on the chopping block, because sometimes you just got to show up and ask those hard questions and answer those hard questions. And right now, I personally feel that SafeMoon has 3 million holders, 10 times more than Saitama. They have a swap, and it kind of fell flat on the face. They couldn't get it on the exchanges because of the reflections. So to me, it seems like hopefully we don't follow down the same path. But I think Saitama does have a big upside. They can do it. I think they really need to figure things out and start really marketing themselves better. Because honestly, when it comes to the social media, they're a PR nightmare.
I think that every person, every entity, every corporation, Henok Crypto, every human being and every organization has opportunity and room for growth. No one is perfect. No one has 100%. Done it, especially in a growing space, especially in a fast growing space, in tech. And I know, this, I'm just gonna say it for the benefit of those listening. In tech industries and tech companies, it's very common to launch products, ideas, say things, do things, and you move quickly. But maybe it's not as perfect or polished, right? They talk about this idea of breaking things. It's a very normal term in Silicon Valley. And so there's a lot of that going on with Saitama. They're moving quickly. It's not perfect and polished. There's no question. There's a lot of opportunity and room for growth. I'm not going to run from that. I'm not going to, try to sugarcoat that. And that's why, I made some of my videos here recently. There's a lot of people who feel exactly the way you do, but it doesn't change the way that I feel about the long term. Again, going back to long term, how's Saitama going to do next month? It might be even worse. How about next quarter? It might be worse. How about 6 months from now? It might be worse. But my prediction is that over the years, if you were looking at it, so for instance, Tesla, and again, I'm not comparing Saitama to Tesla. This is just by way of illustration. And I can insert a lot of different companies here. They were not profitable for many a year. And everybody was betting against them. It got to the point where Elon had to put in 9 figures from his own personal bank account to keep that thing afloat, because they were running out of bread before they finally turned the corner in the next decade. And now they're a raging American success story. And everyone's like, oh, Tesla's the go. Listen, when I was looking at Tesla in 2012, nobody was bullish. Hardly anyone was bullish on that thing. And so, when you're looking at a timeline, when you're looking at a timeline right here, it's dirty. It's ugly. right? But when you look at it over the long haul, it was kind of ugly back here, but the good might outweigh the bad. That's how I think Saitama is going to grow. That's why I think it's headed. Could I be wrong? Yes. I don't have a crystal ball. I could be really wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. I think I'm right.
I like your point of view, but I do have to say that if Saitama was on the actual stock exchange, I think they would be bankrupt by now and out of business. So when you compare Tesla to Saitama, you have to understand that in the cryptocurrency space, Dogecoin is a top 10 cryptocurrency right now. Dogecoin, maybe top 15, which has zero use case, which means that yes, cryptocurrencies, especially smaller cap community tokens, right? But that's a coin. Smaller cap community tokens can just live and breathe on the hype and survive on the hype of the fan base because they're community driven tokens. Yes. And we see examples of this in our everyday life. There's a lot of tokens with zero use case that are making people life-changing money because it happens in our space right now. Now, I think when it comes to Saitama, in the beginning, there's no difference from another token except that they're building a bigger fan base, right? You could say that. And they want to put a product on the market because after a while, after the hype dies down, because there's only so long a community can hold your price up, right?
Yes.
Because we see that with the price action. The price is in the spot where it is now because for a reason. It's just not a stroke of luck, right?
Yes.
Sooner or later, you're going to need to fall back on a product. So their bread and butter is the SaitaMask swap. They said it's going to be revolutionary and those sorts of things. It's going to be very good and it's going to change crypto forever, right? My biggest critique is how are you going to get into a market and make everyone who's using their trusted source, not just the Wolfpack, because we're going to need more than just the people that are Saitama holders, right? To get into SaitaMask. What are we going to do head and shoulders better than the rest to make people to leave their trusted brand to switch to SaitaMask? Because it's hard. You can say, for example, if someone made a phone that's barely better than the iPhone, are you going to buy that phone? The Windows phone was good because it's with the trusted brand, right? So I just don't know what Saitama is going to do much better than other people.
That's a good question. And again, I'm not a dev. I'm not on the leadership team. Never been paid a dime. That'd have been cool back then, especially when I was working a job. Never been paid a dime. Never got a token. No monetary exchange whatsoever between me and that team. I'm just a Wolfpack member like everyone else. And I know a lot of people say, how are we going to be head and shoulders better? What exactly is coming that no one has ever seen before that will be revolutionary? They've kept a lot of that actually pretty tight, which is why many people don't have the answer around that. And I imagine it's because if our enemies were to hear what the plan is, maybe they would engineer that, which is why Apple, Steve Jobs, and many other corporations that are developing technology keep some of their hottest projects under wraps. I don't know. I don't know exactly. Definitely. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know. But here's what I do know. I trust. I think they will. I believe they will.
So you're saying pretty much, before when you said you wouldn't sell Saitama for 10 years or, hey, hold trillions and billions of Saitama and you will be able to quit your job next year and Saitama is going to hit a $1 trillion $1 million market cap next year. It's not because you know exactly what Saitama is going to do differently, but more is that you believe the team around Saitama will do. So pretty much you're just going off, hey, these guys are saying they're going to be great. I'm going to invest in them because they're great.
I go by resume and track record. So like Russ has a company that that was bought out by Berkshire Hathaway. That is not a small.
Yeah, I mean, Dairy Queen's a subsidiary of Berkshire Hathaway.
Yeah, and they're succeeding for a reason. Right, that's my point. So like that's a great company. So my point is this: these guys and their other business ventures, whether it's MK, whether it's Elon, Mansoor, Aaron, they have a track record of success, an unbelievable resume. And so I'm leaning on the fact that they've gone this far. Have you seen the chart over the last 7 months? That chart is banging. It's kind of low over the last couple of weeks. If you look at the chart, from a 1 month or a couple of month perspective, but over the last 7 months, what's been accomplished, what's been built so far in 7 months is absolutely nothing. I get it. This is crypto. 1 day's a week, a week's a month is a year. I get it. But in real life, in actual life, tech company world, we're babies. We're in our freaking diapers. And so, if you're looking at it like I do, which is a 10-year project, 20-year project, we got a long way to go. And I'm willing to bet on a 300,000 plus community. I'm willing to bet on a leadership team that has that resume, that background, that with this much resource and this much opportunity, and honestly, a blue ocean. Let's really keep it 100 here. Like crypto in general is a blue ocean. A lot of opportunity to create new things that no one's ever seen before using blockchain technology. I'm betting that rabid community alongside of that leadership team can actually make a difference in this space. It's a bet. I don't know for sure. I don't have a crystal ball. We're all making guesses. We're all making bets. I live in America. Definitely. I'm making a bet that I can, have the best life possible for my kids in America over, 100%. Where my home country is, which is Ethiopia.
Which I commend you. First of all, Ethiopian food, top 3 for me, banging.
Whoa.
First of all. But what I'm saying is when I think your intentions are good, but I'm saying that if you want to make, a way for yourself on here, and you're gonna kill it in your company, you're gonna succeed anyways. But what I'm saying is that when I look at investments, I look at the evidence that is given to us along the way, and that really helps me build faith in a project. And so far, to be objective, a lot of targets were missed. A lot of promises weren't kept. And I feel like a lot of things were done the wrong way. So when I'm looking at investment long-term, I'm not going on exactly the resume, because I don't think it's that stellar of the Saitama team, to be honest. Okay. I don't think it's that stellar, especially with some of the legal issues that people may have been in the past before, right? So I don't think it's that stellar. I look at the evidence of what they've done, right? And so far, it doesn't lead me to believe they're going to be anything special, in my opinion. They could be, right? They could be. Anything can happen. Anything's possible. But I feel like as a person who potentially wants to teach people about investing in those sorts of things, I think it's important to not say, hey, I'm going to believe this person because they're telling me it based on their resume, which I don't think is that stellar, right? I'm looking at the facts and what we're given, right? And what we're been given so far is not much, right? Maybe prove yourself before you buy billions and trillions of Saitama before you think, hey, I'm going to quit my job because this company says it's going to be the next best thing since sliced bread. You see what I mean?
I understand your perspective. I disagree, with your position and where you land, but I respect and understand where you're coming from.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I mean, that's what I think. I think that, in our space, it's better to be a realistic instead of, feeding people hopium. But that's just my perspective. I know you're hype and you're positive and stuff, and that's your brand, and people love you for that. But I think it's better to come from a very more a critical approach. When it comes to putting a substantial amount of money, which billions and trillions of dollars is substantial, into Saitama, and those sorts of things. So, I mean, I guess we can agree to disagree on this, but I do want to talk about your family life and those sorts of things. So what is in the cards for Henok Crypto, this $1 million deal? What's going on? You guys moving? What's up with that?
We haven't moved yet. That might happen. Okay. We'll see. Man, I love my family. Like, this is something we don't talk enough about in crypto. Like, this is why we do what we do. We just celebrated 9 years. My 9-year anniversary.
Congratulations. Celebrate. I have to say real quick, your wife is white, freckled, ginger, just like my wife. So looks like we have the same taste. Looks like we have the same taste in women. Continue though.
Amen, brother. And she's a beast. Like, honestly, man, like everything good about me, everything you've seen that's of value, if any at all. Some of you are like, there's nothing good there. If anything of value, has a lot to do with my wife and the gift that God has given me through her. I do this for her. We're gonna celebrate 10 years next year. Can't wait for that. I got a 4-year-old. Thank you, brother. I got a 4-year-old. I got a 2-year-old, and what will be a 4-month-old. He'll be a 4-month-old in the next few weeks. And so, man, I'm a family guy first and foremost, and I do this for them. I do this for the babies and the kids. I love being home with them. I hate not being with them. Honestly, man, like, fatherhood is the best hood. Like, I am such a proud daddy. I love tucking them in at night. Like last night, like one of the kids threw up in the middle of the night, and I was like, dang, this sucks. But like, it's such an honor to be the guy that gets to do this. Yeah, for that guy. Because I could have had, any dad would have been blessed to have my kids. My kids are that special. And for God to have given me those kids, that brilliance, that ability to communicate at such a young age, that genius, that creativity, that physical prowess at the age of 2, those good looks at 3 months, and that did not come from me. My kids are gorgeous, and that's my wife.
That's for damn sure. I'm just kidding.
Say that again. That's the only time you can remember that. So it's just crazy. Like, I'm just so grateful, man. So honestly, man, like, family is first. Family is everything to me. I'm married to my family. I'm committed to my family. It's always and always going to be about my family, bro. Do you have kids?
No, I do not have kids. No. Ton of. Okay. I'm what is it? 1 out of 9 siblings though. So, and I'm the second oldest. So I've dealt with a lot of little kids before. Okay. So, little babies running around. I've had to change diapers my whole life because I've had so many little brothers and sisters. So I understand it. Not the same kind of grind you're coming from. But I do want to talk. Okay. So are we officially out of the Get Henok Out of Debt fund? Because that was a thing for a while. Are we out? Are we done? Are we close?
Listen, I have not paid off my mortgage. When I pay off that mortgage and I burn those documents, when I get rid of those student loans, I'm going to make a video about it. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be, bro, don't talk to me about student loans. Evil.
Yeah. Wait, so, and I also want to know about what's up with your 100K, your 6-figure job. You left it, right? How was that? I saw bits and parts. I think you doxed your boss's number on accident, right?
On accident. Yeah, on accident. So please forgive me.
Did anybody call him?
I don't think so. But
Okay.
honestly, man, it is an opportunity of a lifetime. And I will never take this for granted. I try to tweet that out every single night because every breath is a blessing, every moment is a miracle. And you have no idea. Like, bro, I could be on my last year. I could die tomorrow. I could get off this interview.
Yeah.
It's my
Yeah.
last public conversation. Like, it happens to people every single day. What makes you think you're going to live to 90? It's like not most people's
Yeah.
stories. So, man, it is a privilege and an honor. I'm also I want to practice what I preach, right? Like at the end of the freaking day, like if I'm on these videos, if I'm talking about crypto and life-changing money and all this crap, like, bro, put your money where your mouth is. And I had an opportunity, having someone coming up to you with $1 million+ investment to help make your dreams come true and scale what you've been doing helps, right? Like I'm not gonna lie and pretend like that's normal. 99.9% of us would have done the same thing I did had that opportunity come as well. And so I'm blessed, I'm privileged to have that miracle happen to me. Built on the back of the labor I put in on the side. Of course, it didn't come out of nowhere quite like that. But man, it's a blessing. And to be able to quit my job, man, and listen, my job, like, I'm not angry about it. Like, I love my bosses, like my former bosses. I love that former company, SoFi. Like, I had no anger. Like, there was no issue. I just wasn't in my purpose. My purpose is the battery
Exactly.
pack your purpose. That's my purpose, is the battery pack anyone else's purpose. Like, I want to encourage and lift people up. And so to be able to quit my job from doing that in mortgage, to be able to scale it and do it on camera in the crypto space, in the Web3 NFT space, metaverse space, is a blessing and a privilege. So if you're asking me how I feel, a couple things. One, really humbled. Cannot believe it's me. Cannot believe, bro. I was the last dude picked on the pickup team, right? Like I didn't date through high school. Not because I didn't want to. It's because they weren't having me. I was a dork. I was a goof. I was a clown. I was an idiot.
It'd be like that sometime.
Still kind of am, right? And so, like, everything in my life is a blessing, from my wife to my kids to the breath in my body, and the opportunity of a lifetime. Like, if you go check my Twitter, on my pinned tweets was a message I put out like first week of October, because I could not believe, and I still cannot believe that 90 people subscribed to my YouTube channel. Like, I cannot put into words how much this means to me, because the fact that any of you would give 3 seconds of your day to any of us is unreal. We are not gurus. Rodney is. He's a genius. I am not a guru.
Yeah,
I am not a genius. I am not a PhD. I don't have it all figured out. Y'all know how many mistakes I've made, the counseling room, the depression, the anxiety, the pills that they prescribed me, the funerals I've been through, the dark stuff, all the boo-boo I've been through in this life. Like, bro, like, for me to even be alive right now, like, there's so many things that have happened that I'm so grateful for. So yeah, man, I'm humbled, I'm honored, and I want to leverage the opportunity to lift and encourage people. Period. End of story. That's how I feel about leaving.
That's good. Job. That's good. It is powerful for you to have a platform on here. You know what I mean? And hey, life is about, everyone gets a hand, right? You don't get to pick if you're given aces or fucking random cards, right? But you got to play with the hand you're dealt, right? And so you're making the best. Everyone comes up, everyone struggles. Hopefully, a lot of people struggle. Not everyone struggles. A lot of people are envious of like superstars and celebrities in these spots, but you don't understand what these people go through. So always be grateful for the good things you have going on in your life. Now, when I did call you out that one time, on the video, I just want you to use your power, because you have power. People are going to follow you. You are going to battery pack people, as you say, to make sure that none of the new investors are getting wrecked, not to feed them hopium, not to mislead them, not to say crazy, outlandish things like I think you say all the time. That's what I want. You know what I mean? You can run it any way you want to. It's your brand. You're going to do what you want. But Henok, those guys are a dime a fucking dozen. I can go on Twitter and find some rando promoting a cryptocurrency saying it's going to be the next 100x, saying that you're going to get rich tomorrow. And then next week they're promoting something else, and it's a dime a dozen when it comes to this influencer industry, So whoever's invested that $1 million into you, don't let it change who you are on the inside, because a lot of people look up to you, and you don't want to get those people wrecked financially. You see what I mean?
Oh man, bro, I was there before you are, right? Like, it's such an honor and a privilege to have this and I don't even like the word platform. I don't like, and you didn't use this word. I don't like the word followers. Like, some people will be like, man, I can't believe how much you've grown. And I'm like, I don't like that. Like, I don't have followers. I got people that rock with me, right? Like this is an honor. It's a privilege. I got a bunch of friends all over the earth. That's the way I look at this. And like, they're not like friends, but like acquaintances, people in the network. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm very sensitive. Like, I don't forget where I came from. Like, and I can go back with that, right? Like, my family's from Ethiopia. Ethiopia right now is under duress. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so my sister was with an Ethiopian guy for almost a decade, and I was very familiar with the culture and stuff. So I understand exactly where
Yeah.
you guys come from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from poverty, right? One of the poorest countries on earth till this day, still messed up. To Section 8 housing. Going up when I was a kid. The
I've
first
been
half of
there
my
too,
childhood.
buddy. Food stamps and Section
Yeah,
8,
food
baby.
stamp.
Oh
Hey,
yeah.
that powdered milk, that cheese that'll survive until
That's WIC, baby. That's
2043.
WIC.
All that. And so in urban Chicago in the 90s, and then my mom moved us out to the suburbs though. Let's keep it 100. She got us into a subprime mortgage, moved us out to the suburbs to save her babies' lives. And that's a miracle. So I don't forget where I came from. I don't forget what it was like being on this side of the screen, trying to figure out crypto, trying to make it, trying to quit your job, trying to, become financially free to do something for your chocolate kids. Like, I don't forget. And so, man, I really appreciate that encouragement. I think it's something that I take to heart. Man, anybody that levels criticism, not at me, but at some of the things I say, man, I don't dismiss it wholeheartedly. I like to get coaching from anyone and everyone. I don't think you have to agree with everyone to learn from everyone,
Yeah, absolutely. And, on my channel, I'm pretty much synonymous with not, blocking people. You should just read my comments. They're insane sometimes. But you know what? Those comments are important. Maybe that person who's talking crap about my gap, I'm sure you get a lot of comments on we both get comments on our teeth.
Just a little bit.
I get horse face. I mean, it's like, whatever. Those things don't hurt me. And I'm open to criticism. I don't block people. We don't make an echo chamber here. So I think it is important to be able to accept criticism. Absolutely. So good point with that, right? You want to be able to take some criticism somebody's giving to you and maybe improve yourself with it or whatever, right? Because a lot of people come at me all day, every day.
Yeah, you get it pretty bad, bro. You get it pretty bad.
Oh, yeah.
I get a little bit of that.
Wait, so who's you called us cockroaches? So who are you referring to as cockroaches?
Let's start with Rodney, the king of all cockroaches. I'm just kidding.
Cockroach gang. Did you see the cockroach I posted too on my?
No, I missed it. Cockroaches stand up.
Yeah, exactly. You see, he called us cockroaches, guys. You see that? What's up with that?
I gotta go look.
You want to be a wolf or a? Do you howl anymore?
Do I howl? Honestly, no. I try not to. I did. I got one off.
Hold on. Honestly, no. What the fuck? What happened? Why the fuck are you howling anymore?
So honestly, a couple things. I did pop off a howl on the live stream that I had with Michael Thompson and Terry Briggs the other day. That was crazy. I didn't know I had that in me. I literally just came out. So here's what happened. So October, November, in the first week of, or maybe the first or second week of December, bro, I was howling multiple times a day. It was kind of my signature thing.
No shit.
It was crazy, right? So but then we got hit with RSV. If y'all know about that, I got hit with RSV. We had to make multiple. Oh, it's bad. It's like a respiratory. It's an issue. So
okay.
Yeah. So bro, we were at the ER twice. My kids, doctor's visits, late nights. I mean, bro, it was a multiple week thing. And at the end of all of that, they looked at me and said, "You realize that RSV in some cases is actually worse than COVID for many people." That happened to be us. I stripped my vocal folds. It took me weeks. I couldn't talk for weeks. Hardly made any videos. It was dirty. It was bad. And one of the things they looked at me and said is, "Hey, you're probably not going to be able to scream at that pitch, at that level, and even talk that animated for months." So
yeah, that shit was nutty. I remember I was like, "This motherfucker is literally howling every day." And then you watch the Vegas event, and I see you there, fucking sending it, baby.
I was feeling it in Vegas. I've never been to Vegas. I've never been to Nevada. I was feeling that.
Me neither. How did you feel that day when the price just took a big shit? And it hasn't really been the same since. What did that look like?
So I'll tell you what happened. I honestly didn't watch it. This is going to sound crazy. I don't watch the charts much. I literally watch the charts.
What the fuck are you supposed to take profits if you don't watch the charts? You don't check them at all?
I told you. It's not that I don't check them at all. I might look at it once a week. I'm being honest. I honestly don't check it very much. At first I did because I was a day trader. I was like trying to get rich quick. But when I finally clicked in my head, no, bro, this will take literally years to see this thing really do some things that you're talking about it doing. That's what my analysis shows me at this point. Now that could change if new information comes in, but at this point, it's gonna take years. The team can always do a better job. But the bottom line is this, bro. I didn't watch the charts that night. I was just having a good time. I couldn't believe I was in the room with Jake Gagan. I couldn't believe I was in the room with Terry. I couldn't believe I was in the room with Michael Thompson. I couldn't believe I was in the room with Bree. I couldn't believe I was in the room with Aaron and MK. Honestly, bro, I love humanity. I'm in love with humanity. If you cut me to the core, that's what's in me, bro. And I feed off of just
you're getting your heart on right now. Just fucking bro.
Sorry. Yeah. I just love being around humanity. So I was just enjoying the night, wasn't checking no charts. Then I found out the next day, Oh, this thing was dumping. So, man, I don't tie my emotions, my energy. Yeah, I was like, oh, shoot. You know, and again, it's always money you can afford to lose. So, like, you know, I understand there are people that don't have that privilege. So I want to be sensitive to that. But, like, I really didn't really hit me, bro, until that Monday when we got back in town. And I'm not going to lie to you, bro. I'm going to keep it 100. That was the first time that, like, I got canceled. And it was because I tied myself to Saitama.
Why did you get canceled? What happened?
Oh, there was a
because
lot of people,
the price dumped?
It absolutely dumped. And it didn't. That event did not go the way that many people hoped. I'm putting it very nicely. That event,
no, it didn't.
It did not go the way that many of us hoped that it would go. Let me put it together like that. You know, and so I got canceled. Many of us got canceled. We got attacked. Saitama got attacked. It continues to get attacked. And that's okay. And I was down in the dumps. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I was definitely on some negative that day. I was like, man, these people hate me, whatever. But there's a couple things that came to mind. Two things. One, there's a quote that a mentor always said to me. He said, bro, you got to remember that verse in the Bible. Jesus never gave his heart over to mankind because he knew what was in there. The same people that shouted Hosanna on a Monday are the same exact people that'll shout crucify him on a Friday. And he just reminded me, bro, listen, like, they'll be with you when things are up. You know, they're going to trash you when things are down. Always remember who your core is, your family is, the people around you. And so I'm extremely grateful for the Wolfpack. I'm grateful for the 90% of people that I rock with online that are extremely positive, energizing, and life-giving. And don't ever let the 10%, the cockroaches, you know, ruin your day or ruin your week. So that was definitely a lesson. I do love you, Rodney.
Cockroaches always ruining days. Absolutely. You know, when things are not going your way, as soon as Saitama's price starts to pump, I get DMs like, oh, I told you, bitch. I'm just like, dude, I don't want Saitama to go to the dirt. I have money. It would help us both. I just want them to do better when it comes to the media side, right?
We all do.
I want them to.
We all do.
Exactly.
Yeah, we all want that.
They're PR mess, I think, in my opinion. I want them to do better when it comes to some of the influencers that promote it. I don't want them just to say the good things. I want to share the bad things. And lately, the last week or so, every influencer is starting to be like, well,
we got to keep it 100. We got to keep it 100. We got to keep it 100. Hey,
exactly.
When things are great, you're going to hear me talk about it. When things are bad, I can't run. And that's something you put some pressure on me about. It's like, hey, you know what? I don't think I've ever criticized Saitama. So am I going to act like this is perfect? Am I going to act like this is the Bible? Am I going to act like this is God and Jesus? No. So everyone is, listen, if I'm going to get criticized and I'm going to get hit for some mistakes that I'm making, then everybody needs to be under that same scalpel and scrutiny. And that includes you, Rodney. That includes me. And I'm open to all that. I know the team, Saitama, they're not walking around acting like they're perfect. They're not going to sit here and tell the rest of us that, yeah, we got it all figured out. Everything's gone perfectly well.
No, but they do always blame it on the haters. They say haters, we're getting attacked, and haters this. It's never their fault. Until recently, on that last AMA.
I can't speak to them and how they operate and how they speak. What I can say is we definitely have some haters, and there are some definitely, those are factual statements. Like, there are haters and there are people attacking Saitama. That's not true, you know.
Now, what's up with the FBI thing? I want to double that. He said my friend's cousin's brother works at the FBI.
Hey,
he told me.
My baby mama down the street on the corner of Crenshaw and 14th told me.
How am I supposed to believe that when it's like there's no someone from the FBI saying that Saitama's getting attacked?
Listen, someone that I trust and value said that they have a cousin that is in the FBI and looked into, you know, a requisition that said, you know, Saitama on the dark web. And basically what he said was, whether this is true or not, I don't know for a fact. I can only tell you what I'm hearing and what I'm sensing from someone that I do trust. And what he communicated to me was, hey, there's an open requisition. There was an open requisition to attack and bring down Saitama on the dark web. That doesn't surprise me. Act like everyone is out here trying to hand out cotton candy and pixie fairies. Like, that does not surprise me at all.
That was for the DDoS attack, right?
I don't know exactly which attack they were referring to be honest with you.
Because I think it was some negligence on their part. I think that was debunked. I think they mentioned it because we had a guy talk about it on my channel about the AWS system they use. It was a mess up on Saitama's part. A lot of it was. So it wasn't the DDoS attack 100%. It may have been part of it, but definitely not the reason why we're still not having the app today fully functional. So I think it's good to clarify that they did come out and say like, hey, it wasn't, you know. Yeah, it was an issue on their end.
100%.
But, you know, when you say things like my friend's cousin, FBI thing, it's just a little, so, you know, I can say hey, guys, my cousin told me, you know, all that stuff. It's just like, it's kind of crazy, right?
This goes back to crypto. Right now, there is no central location for information. Crypto is literally all word of mouth. Literally.
Hell no. There's some people who have
there's some
established products who have done things.
but it's literally coming from the mouth of human beings. My point is this: information is disseminated human to human, whether it's voice chat, Twitter, Telegram,
That's everything.
YouTube. Right. That's my point. And so at the end of the day, like information comes human to human in this space. There's no central location like an encyclopedia by which you get that information. So I'm just repeating what I'm hearing from people that I trust.
I mean, I guess you could say that, but it's good to be like, you want real hardcore evidence. Like, hey, this was said, this happened. Like, here's the proof.
Ideal.
Because no shit.
That's ideal.
Absolutely. But we are coming up on our hour, Henok. I know you're a busy guy and I have to get to some stuff too. And dude, it's been a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for coming on the channel and coming into the fire. You know what I mean? You're doing better than a lot of the criticism I give the team of Saitama and other people out here in the space. You're coming into a place where, hey, maybe people are going to ask you tough questions. So I do commend you for that, brother.
Hey, thank you for having me. A couple things I want to say. Thank you so much for your service to our nation. Man, I have such a love, appreciation, admiration for veterans, those that serve in the military in any way, shape, or form, and their families. So
thank you for your support.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you for that. And then also, man, thank you for having me. Thank you for a civil discourse.
100%.
We live in a country where you can't even disagree with somebody without, destroying one another, and especially as brothers. Like, this is something very important to me. And listen, I'm willing to listen, I'm willing to learn, I'm willing to grow and adjust. I am not perfect, I'm not a genius, I'm not a guru. And I've learned from you, bro. I've learned, listen, we got to talk about some tough things sometimes. And that's something I want to continue to grow in. So I appreciate you and what you've done for us.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, brother. Good luck to your future endeavors. Of course, we will be watching.
Hey, all I got to say is this: Suns versus the Nets. That's all I got to say.
You're fucking out of your mind. You're out of your fucking mind.
Hey,
Warriors and Bucks.
Oh,
Warriors and Bucks.
Gosh. All right, we'll see. Watch, it's going to be the Warriors and the Nets. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be like the Nets and like the Suns.
Yeah, we'll fucking see. All right, brother.
Have a great day.
Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have a fantastic day. I'm going to go ahead and repost this on the Twitter. Go ahead and rewatch it if you missed the beginning. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you like and subscribe, all that good stuff. All the links to Henok's stuff is in the description down below. Go check him out, do your thing, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.